when we go for a free consult with an attorney, they can't tell us anything specific about our case except the generalities, correct? Because,
Usually, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Usually that's true. I maybe some attorneys spend time and actually give legal advice. I don't know how much time goes into it. I know with our consultations, we thoroughly review beforehand. We review financial information. We come in ready. And I know how much time and effort that takes and how much value. And I couldn't provide that service for a free consultation. So I would wonder if there's some corners being cut there, especially in a situation like this where there's guesswork going into it. And I also think, I mean, I'll be blunt, nobody works for free. Nobody does. We all have bills to pay just like you do. So if somebody is in there for free, this educated person who probably has student loans and a business to run, they're trying to get money out of you. So their goal in that conversation is not, how can I help you? How can I analyze? How can I create a path forward? It's, how can I get you to sign a retainer? How can I get money out of this? So again, it's a rabbit hole, different discussion. I know we've touched on it. We'll talk about it more. But I would say, again, this is an investment. This is an investment. Depending on your circumstances, there may be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars at stake. That's not the time to say, I'm going to go for the cheapest person who's not charging me. Not the best move in my opinion.
Now, if we're dealing with a controlling person, narcissist, whatever term you use, and I want this divorce, but I don't have I don't know where the bank account is. I don't have access to that. I have no credit cards. What do I do?
It's a difficult situation, and I've seen that before. Sometimes you need to borrow money at the outset, and that's where we talk about where do we come up with this. And I know it's scary. I know it's scary to feel like I don't have anything. I don't, I need to find the cheapest person because I can't spend money. It's just such a, I see that lead to bad outcomes every day. People call our office and they say that they paid some very small amount of money and they're dissatisfied and they don't have any money and they can't go forward. And so you want to start thinking about those resources. What are your resources? What can you borrow? What do you have? What are you able to do? And again, I don't want anybody borrowing to the point that they can't pay back, but there is an investment here. And I really encourage you to see it that way, as opposed to, oh, I'm spending money. It's an investment. Divorce is one of the biggest financial investments of your life. And people think of it that way, and they should, especially women. That's why women get so shortchanged. That's why you hear about women going from marriage to poverty, because it's looked at differently. And that's one of the first steps where people, rather than set themselves up for success, go down a path that's just not going to work.
You and I both have met a lot of people in that situation, right? It's like they can't get it, the information. They're afraid to ask friends and family to borrow money to get out of this nasty situation, right? And if you're dealing with the narcissist, you know, how do you deal with all of that anger and that control, and yet you're trying to get out, or they're saying no, you're never going to leave, and I'm going to have as many mistresses or whatever and spend all the money.
Right.
Um, yeah, how do we pick the battles, Lori?
Absolutely. It's an excellent question. And that kind of brings us to number two, protecting. We've talked about planning. Now we're going to talk about protection. Protection means assembling your team, your legal team, financial, your mental health, and your support resources. This person that we're talking about is going to try to drain you emotionally. They know the buttons to push. They know what to say. They know how to drag you into long conversations that go nowhere, where they're just talking at you or berating you or just trying to drag you down. you need the people who understand that. You need not just your supportive friends and family. You need them. They always help. But you want somebody, especially people with high conflict experience, a divorce coach who can be by your side, who you can call and say, this is what's going on. And that part, not so much for legal advice, but to say, okay, this person's getting in your head. Let's separate what's real from what isn't. And then you need the legal advice to understand that. Because again, this person, this narcissist, is going to battle you on all fronts. And if they know they can't, the more they know they can't win legally, they're going to try to attack you emotionally, mentally. And I've seen it so many times, because the law very clearly says you're entitled to all the financial information, everything. Basically, it gets opened up. No matter what, if they think it's in their name, if they think it's in another country, if it's in the business, none of that matters. That still either is marital, it may be marital. Even if it's not marital, you're entitled to see it. And the more you ask for and the more they fight, the more you're on the right track. So they're going to go to a different track. So in order to protect yourself, you have to have that team. You have to have that, not just the financial reserves that we talked about, the mental and emotional reserves, so that you know this is what's going to happen, so that you're not shocked when it does.
Yes, and when they get in your head and they start saying those things, right? And a lot of times, um, well, in my situation, I would say something back, right? Well, that's probably not the best thing to do. So to have the coach, to have someone there, to have somebody to talk to and say, you need to take a deep breath, count to 10, and then respond, because the anger and the throwing the words back is not going to work. It's just going to increase the dissension and all of these emotions that are going on.